Hello everyone, and welcome back to Still Mind. Have you ever wondered how one person could paint the world's most enigmatic smile? Design the first flying machine, sketch a robot, study human anatomy with astonishing accuracy, and simultaneously be an architect, a musician, and a philosopher? In human history, there are individuals who not only excel in one field but shine brilliantly in almost every area they touch. They are the brightest stars in the firmament of intellect. And perhaps, no star shines brighter than Leonardo da Vinci. Born in Italy in 1452, during the Renaissance, a period of great explosion in culture, art, and science, Leonardo was dubbed Uomo Universale, the universal man. He was the painter of the Mona Lisa and The Last Supper. A scientist with studies centuries ahead of his time, an engineer with pioneering designs, and a profound thinker. What makes Leonardo so great isn't just his innate talent. It's his infinite spirit of learning, a curiosity that never waned, and a burning desire to understand everything in this universe. His quotes, distilled from thousands of pages of notes, are not just for artists or scientists. They are guiding principles for anyone who wants to live a full, meaningful, and ever-evolving life. Today, join me as we explore 10 timeless quotes from Leonardo da Vinci. To understand why, 500 years later, he is still called the genius of geniuses. Quote 1. Simplicity. Our first quote, and a foundational philosophy in all his works. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. In our modern world, saturated with information and unnecessary complexity, we often mistake more for better. More features, more details, more words. But Leonardo, 5 centuries ago, saw through to the essence of things. A great idea is often simple. The more refined it is, the closer it gets to simplicity. Look at the Mona Lisa. It's not a grandiose landscape or a fierce battle. It's just a portrait of a woman. But its sophistication lies in the sfumato technique that blurs the lines, creating a lifelike feel. The sophistication lies in a smile that the world still debates today. It is simple in concept, yet achieves the pinnacle of complexity in execution. Or consider the Vitruvian Man. With just ink on paper, Leonardo encapsulated an entire cosmology of the golden ratio, of the harmony between man and the universe, in a single drawing. Simple, yet nothing could be more profound. The lesson here? In your work, in design, in communication, strive to remove the superfluous to get to the core. Sophistication isn't what you can add, but when there's nothing left to take away. Quote 2. Learning and thinking. But to achieve that sophisticated simplicity, you need deep understanding. This leads us to our second quote, a warning for anyone on the path of knowledge. Studying without thought is a waste. Thinking without study is dangerous. This is a principle of perfect balance. If you only study, passively absorbing information, reading without questioning, listening to lectures without critical thought, that knowledge is like water off a duck's back. It will flow away, leaving nothing behind. It's a waste of time and effort. On the other hand, if you only think without studying, relying solely on your subjective opinions, on what you assume is right without a foundation of knowledge, without data, without referencing prior works, your thoughts become one-sided, flawed, and dangerous. It's like building a skyscraper on a weak foundation. Leonardo embodied the fusion of both. He observed a bird in flight, learning from nature. Then he thought, calculated, and sketched a flying machine, creative thinking. He dissected corpses to understand every muscle and ligament, practical learning. And then applied that knowledge to paint human bodies that looked incredibly alive, artistic thought. In the age of the internet, we can study anything. But the question is, do we spend enough time thinking about what we've learned? Always be an active learner, absorb and question in equal measure. Quote 3. The power of patience. The path of combining learning and thinking is not a shortcut. It demands a virtue that Leonardo always held in high regard. Patience protects us from error. Leonardo da Vinci was famously slow in his work. The Last Supper took 3 years to complete, and there were days when he would just stand before it for a few minutes, observe, and then leave. Many of his works were left unfinished. His contemporaries might have called him lazy, but in reality, it was the patience of a perfectionist. He understood that haste is the enemy of excellence. When we rush, we overlook details, we take shortcuts, and we accept good enough solutions instead of the best ones. A patient person gives themselves time to observe, to experiment, and most importantly, to make mistakes and correct them in private. In a world that worships speed, where everything must be instant, this quote from Leonardo is a powerful reminder. Sometimes, slowing down is the fastest way to reach your destination securely. Patience is not passive waiting, it is working tirelessly while waiting for the right moment. It's the shield that protects us from the major failures caused by impatience. Quote 4. Beauty in the details. And that patience allowed him to see what others missed. Art lives in the details. Many people seek beauty in grand things, a majestic mountain, a colossal piece of architecture. Leonardo loved these too, but he found art and divinity in the smallest of places. He could spend hours sketching the swirl of water in a vortex, the structure of a single leaf, or the wrinkles on an old man's face. To him, the grand universe was reflected in the simplest details. To understand how a leaf works was a way to understand life itself. The greatest painting is made of millions of tiny brushstrokes. This quote teaches us to live a life of greater depth. Practice observation. Beauty is not just at the destination, it's hidden in every step of the journey. Joy isn't only in major events, but in a sunny morning, a good cup of coffee, a meaningful conversation. When you appreciate the small details, your life naturally becomes richer and more artful. Quote 5. Wisdom and silence. A person with such profound observational skills is rarely the loudest in the room. He who knows little often speaks much. He who knows much often speaks little. This is a timeless truth. The Dunning-Kruger effect in modern psychology has proven this. People with low ability at a task tend to overestimate their ability, and vice versa. Those who know little feel the need to talk a lot to prove themselves, to fill the gaps in their knowledge with the volume of their voice. They make hasty conclusions and bold, definitive statements. Conversely, those who know much, like Leonardo, realize that the more they learn, the less they know. They are aware of the complexity of issues, the multiplicity of perspectives. Therefore, they listen more, observe more carefully, and only speak when their words truly add value. Their silence is not emptiness, but a space for contemplation. It is evidence of wisdom, humility, and true confidence. Before you speak, ask yourself, is what I am about to say more valuable than silence? Quote 6. Sharpening the mind. But to attain such deep understanding, the mind must be constantly honed. Just as iron rusts from disuse, so does the intellect waste away. A comparison that could not be more potent or accurate. Leonardo viewed the human brain as a muscle, or a tool. If you don't use it, it weakens. If you don't challenge it, it becomes stagnant. He himself was living proof. Leonardo never allowed his mind to rest. He constantly switched between fields, one day painting, the next studying optics, the day after designing a bridge. This multidisciplinary learning was like cross-training for the brain, activating different regions and creating unexpected connections. Never be satisfied with what you already know. Read a book on a topic you've never considered. Learn a new skill. Debate with someone who holds an opposing view. Each of these challenges is a whetstone, keeping your intellect sharp and bright. Quote 7. The perfect fusion. Sharpening the intellect isn't just about logic and science. For Leonardo, the ideal life required a blend. To develop a complete mind, study the art of science, study the science of art, This is the manifesto of the Renaissance man. He saw no conflict between science and art. On the contrary, they were two sides of the same coin. Two ways to explore the beauty and truth of the world. Art without science, knowledge of anatomy, perspective, optics, becomes superficial, lacking depth. Science without art, creativity, imagination, and appreciation for beauty, becomes dry and soulless. Leonardo used his knowledge of anatomy to paint the human body, and mathematics to create perfect perspective. He was a scientist with the soul of an artist, and an artist with the mind of a scientist. We are the same. A happy life is one where we can use our reason to solve problems and our hearts to feel beauty. Find the balance between your work and your passions, between logic and emotion. Quote 8. The greatest teacher. So where did Leonardo learn enough to become so erudite? He had the greatest teacher of all. Nature is the master of masters. Natura e la maestra dei maestri. In all his notebooks, Leonardo displayed an infinite reverence and curiosity for the natural world. He didn't see nature as something to be conquered, but as an infinite source of inspiration and knowledge. He studied the wings of birds to design flying machines. He observed the flow of water to design canals and hydraulic systems. He analyzed the structure of trees to understand material strength. For him, the answers to humanity's most complex problems had already been solved perfectly by nature over millions of years of evolution. Today, we live in concrete cities, increasingly distant from the natural world. Leonardo's words remind us to return. Take a walk in the forest. Listen to the ocean waves. Watch a colony of ants at work. Nature not only heals the soul, it is a treasure trove of wisdom waiting to be discovered. Quote 9. The secret of time. Learning from the master teacher. Nature, sharpening the mind, working with patience. All of this requires our most precious asset. Time stays long enough for those who use it. Leonardo's day had the same 24 hours as ours. So how did he accomplish such a colossal amount of work? The secret lies in how he used time. For those who waste it, time flies by meaninglessly. A day, a week, a year disappears in a cloud of regret. But for those who cherish and use time with intention, every moment is filled with learning, creation, and experience. Their lives, though perhaps short in years, are incredibly long and rich in meaning. Leonardo didn't waste a second. Even while walking, he was observing and taking notes. He lived a dense life. This quote challenges us to re-examine how we use our 24 hours each day. Are we making time stretch? Or are we letting it slip through our fingers? Quote 10. The master key. And finally, the 10th quote, a summation of all his extraordinary efforts. Diligence is the mother of good fortune. Talent is a gift, but dedication is what turns that talent into a legacy. Leonardo was gifted, but without the tens of thousands of hours spent toiling in his studio, in his lab, over cold cadavers, there would be no Leonardo the Great. Human flight was once impossible. Painting a smile with a living soul was once impossible. Understanding the human body in detail was once impossible. But dedication, relentless persistence, and a burning passion for his work made all of these things possible. Whatever your goal may be, no matter how distant or impossible it seems, remember that dedication is the master key. It is the force that can move mountains, not in one great push, but by patiently moving one small stone at a time, every single day. Conclusion and outro. Simplicity, learning through action, patience, appreciating the details, listening more, sharpening the mind, balancing reason and emotion, learning from nature, valuing time, and above all, dedication. These are the 10 diamonds of wisdom from Leonardo da Vinci, humanity's universal genius. He left us not only artistic masterpieces but also a blueprint for a life well lived. He reminds us that within every ordinary person lies the potential to be extraordinary. If only we have enough curiosity, patience, and passion. Which quote resonated with you the most? Are you applying any of Leonardo's philosophies to your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video inspiring, please give it a like, subscribe to Still Mind, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next episodes. And did you know, there's a modern genius who lived and worked by many of Leonardo's principles, from his obsession with simplicity to the fusion of technology and art. In our next video, we'll journey into the mind of Steve Jobs, the man who changed the world with creativity and relentless passion. Thank you for watching.